everybody was right about you. You're a piece of shit. I see you. I want you to know that.
You need to just calm down.
I see you. You're a
dirtbag.
You're a dirtbag.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of New Jersey, Season 14, Episode 8. And before we get into all the mess, let me just say shout out to my friend Kempire. He had his second live show here in New York this past Friday, and I was there, and when I tell y'all, I had the best time. We had the crew from Summer House Martha's Vineyard, Jasmine, Silas, Noel, and Jason, and when I tell y'all, the tea was spilled. And the next time I go live, we're going to chat. But a time was had. To all my subscribers that I met, I love y'all so much. And I love the fact that I saw several of you from the last show. Y'all were here at this show too. So it felt like a reunion seeing familiar faces. But I had the best time. Kempire, thank you so much for having me. It was such a nice way to kick off the weekend. And yeah, y'all, if Kempire comes to your city, you need to go and buy a ticket because his live shows are that girl. But y'all, let's get into this episode. Because when I tell y'all, if you guys could have heard how loud I screamed when Jen Aydin pushed Danielle, I said, oh wait, no she did not. Y'all already know I don't like Jen Aydin. I do not like Teresa. But Jen Aydin really just grinds my gears. I think that she's so insufferable. And there's just this try hard, thirstiness, desperation that surrounds her that really gets on my nerves badly. And in this episode, the way she was grasping at straws to try and find an issue with Danielle, because girl, the fact that you're still talking about this fundraiser event that happened last year, you're still talking about that 4 episodes later, is giving, I want a storyline and I'm trying to have an issue with Danielle. Because if we're being honest, what has Danielle done to you? Again, if you are a Jen Aydin or a Teresa fan, this is not the video for you because the way I'm about to gather them up, they both tried it. So without further ado, let's just jump right on into it because you guys already know that we don't have a minute to spare. So we open up this episode with Teresa at a Zen healing center, and I just feel like the jokes truly write themselves because Teresa, of all people, seeking out healing and saying how spiritual she is. I'm just like, okay, girl, well, obviously the healing has not helped you one bit, but I digress. So while Teresa's waiting on Jen, Aydin, and Dolores, she's making small talk with the owner, and we find out that Teresa is hosting this tipsy in Tulum party, and she wants the Buddha head that the owner has. Now, the owner had me screaming. She said, well, that particular Buddha head, that's not for sale, but I'm sure that we can work something out for you for your party. I said, I know that's right. Go ahead and make your coin and charge her triple. So now Jen, Aydin, and Dolores arrive, and we see the ladies sit down for meditation and a sound bath. And is it just me, or does it seem like every single year there's a new trend that all the housewives have to participate in? Because I feel like last year it was all about them having shamans. Now this year the trend is let's all go to sound baths. We've seen sound baths on Salt Lake City, New York. I think Atlanta, they did one when they went to Portugal on Sheree's trip. That was a big flop. But I feel like sound baths are the newest trend. And I'm like, okay, let's do something else. So they have finished the sound bath. And now the owner says to them, if you guys have any questions about anything in the shop, please let me know. So Dolores points to one of the trees that's in the shop. And she says, oh, I like this a lot. I would love to have this in my house. And now the owner says, oh, well, that tree is connected to abundance and growth. It's great for starting a new business, a new venture. And then that's when Dolores lets Teresa and Jen Aydin know that her and Paulie are going into business together. And I just said, girl, I do not understand why you want to go into business with this man. He is still legally married. Dolores, this makes no sense. This is dumb. And if Paulie were doing so well, he would not need to go into business with his woman. In my humble opinion, I feel like that's a recipe for disaster. It's just giving opportunist, because I'm confused as to why he has so much trepidation and hesitation about proposing to Dolores and getting this divorce from his ex, but yet he wants to jump in head first into a business with Dolores. I don't think so. And every time somebody questions Dolores about her relationship status with Paulie and where are things going, she always gets defensive and has a million excuses. So now Dolores goes on to add that right now, marriage is not the most important thing. And Jen Aydin says, well, since when? I thought that he had a ring. So what's going on? But Jen Aydin is smart to know that Dolores is not the one or the two, especially when it comes to relationships. So she's like, look, my lips are sealed. I'm not going to press the issue. Dolores obviously gets uncomfortable anytime anybody mentions her relationship, so let me be quiet. And I said, smart move, Jen, because you know who to try. You know who to test. Because had you kept prying, Dolores probably would have cursed you out. Jen Aydin brings up Melissa's housewarming. She's like, well, you missed a whole shit show of a housewarming party. And I just said, girl, you couldn't wait to run and tell Teresa all the drama. Again, Melissa, if I were you, I would not have had Jen Aydin in my brand new home. Absolutely not. So Dolores interjects and she says, yes, Teresa, there were fights in every corner. Everybody was going at it. So Dolores says, I brought the gift to your brother. And of course, Jen Aydin has to interject. So she's like, oh yeah, Bill told me that he didn't even read the card. He threw it in the fire. So Teresa says, oh, well, I'm not surprised because my brother is very petty. Now I said, time out. Teresa, you calling anybody petty is hilarious. You are the pettiest person on this show, and you're the most vengeful. The way you hold grudges, how dare you act like, oh, your brother's so petty and you're not? Girl, you're worse than your brother. Like, what are you saying here? I swear that when it comes to Teresa, there's a lack of self-awareness. So Teresa tries to play it off like she's not bothered. She says, well, the only thing that was in that card was congratulations on your new home. Love, Teresa and Louie. That's it. That's all. It was not an olive branch. It was just a gesture. And I love how you guys clocked the BS because in my last recap, y'all made great points about how Teresa only did that to be strategic. She wanted her name to come up at their housewarming party. That was just a way to get attention. Because had you not brought that gift, they would not have mentioned you. So now we have a producer asking Teresa, why did she send Joe a housewarming gift in the first place? So Teresa says, well, I can't even take credit for that. That was all Louie's idea because I'm not kissing anybody's ass and I don't want to make up with them. Now, again, Teresa, I'm not buying that answer. I believe that you and Louie wanted to send that gift because you guys wanted to be discussed. You knew that it was going to cause tension. You knew that Joe was going to be emotional and upset about it. You knew that Melissa would talk about it. So that's why you did that. But let's not act like, oh, it was all Louie's idea. No, it was your idea. Now Dolores brings up how John Fuda brought up the whole sit-down conversation that was only 15 minutes long. And Teresa says, yeah, it was to clear up that he's not a drug dealer. Meanwhile, he is a drug dealer. So now Dolores brings up how Paul told her that John Fuda brought up the whole Gia analogy that Jackie had said a few seasons ago. So now Teresa's really upset and she says, why is John talking about my daughter? The next time I see him, I'm going to tell him, keep my daughter's name out of your mouth. Now I said, hold on. Because John Fuda did not say anything bad about Gia. He just said that he was younger than Gia was when he got caught selling weed. That's all he said. And what I'm about to say next may be a bit controversial, but that's okay. It's my opinion, and we can tussle about it in the comments respectfully. But I'm going to just say this, and I'm sure that quite a few of you guys feel the same way. But I'm so sick and tired of Teresa constantly inserting Gia into this grown mess. And then when somebody says something about her daughter, she gets upset. Also, Gia is no longer a minor. She is a grown woman. She is 22 years old. You want to step into this grown arena, then prepare for somebody to say something to you. You can't hide behind, oh, well, that's my mom and I'm her child and I should be off limits. No, you want to be grown now. You are a grown woman. You have a lot to say. You want to talk badly about your mother's castmates. Be prepared if one of your mother's castmates says something about you. You can't have it both ways. And let's not forget how Teresa was reading Caroline Manzo's daughter Lauren for filth. Remember that? I think it was the season 4 or season 5 reunion. Not once did she say, oh, well, let me not say anything because that's Caroline's daughter. No. She felt like, no, your ass is grown. You're 23. You're saying stuff about me. I'ma get you. And she did that. And not once did Teresa let up and say, oh, you know what? Let me not say that because you're Caroline's daughter. I have respect. Like, I'm not going to do that. No, she went in on her and didn't give a damn about that being somebody's child. So the same way you have your grown daughter inserting herself into your mess, then you can't be mad if somebody brings her name up. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. And back to my original point, John Fuda did not say anything disparaging or messed up about Gia anyway. So now Jen brings up her issues with Danielle, and I rolled my eyes so hard. I said, oh my gosh, girl, if you bring up this charity event one more time, I'm going to scream. I thought you already settled this last episode. Why are you still talking about it again? So anyhow, Jen Aydin continues on by saying that they all helped Danielle sell tickets to that charity event, and her issue was, why couldn't Danielle just put the surgery center on the step and repeat? And she goes on to say how offended she was that Danielle said, well, why should I? Because you guys didn't donate any money. Now, let me just stop right here and correct myself, because in last week's recap, I had said something like, oh, Danielle, you should have had their names on the step and repeat, especially if Bill and Jen gave money. Now, hearing that Jen say out of her mouth that her and Bill did not donate money, I'm just like, okay, Jen, you're off base to expect your name to be on the step and repeat when you did not donate any money. That's not how this works. Very delusional and entitled. And I find it funny that you want to act as if Danielle is so selfish, but that's you. I just said, girl, you're doing all this, and the whole time you did not give a dime to that charity. And it really blew me when Jen said, bitch, we showed up. I said, girl, do you think that you're A-list? You are C-list at best. You're not even one of the top housewives across all the franchises, okay, girl? So for you to act like, well, bitch, we showed up and just our presence alone is so powerful that I should have been on the step and repeat, girl, again, delusional. And for you to act like Danielle has an ego, your ego is overinflated for you to even say, well, bitch, we showed up. Girl, who gives a damn? That's the least you could do. And I'm so glad that Dolores was there to clock it. She said, now, I don't buy this whole step and repeat thing at all. I just think that Jen doesn't like the girl. That's it and that's all. Because that's exactly what it is. Jennifer Aydin is grasping at straws to find an issue with Danielle. And once again, Jen, you had settled this in the last episode. So why are we still talking about it? Dolores jumps to Danielle's defense and she says, honestly, I just wrote it off as it was her first time hosting a charity event. And then you have Jen Aydin saying, well, you know, it might be her first time, but I still feel like she could take a lesson in being grateful. I said, girl, shut up. So here's where things get messier. Dolores brings up the whole entire incident between Margaret and Jackie. Then she brings up how Margaret exposed Jackie for talking about her and calling her a slob. And I'm still so confused as to why Jackie would call Dolores, of all people, a slob. One thing about Dolores, she may play both sides and try to be neutral, but she always will call out the BS. She says, here's my thing about Jackie. Jackie always thought that she was better than me, better than you and Jen. And right now, she still feels like she's better than the both of y'all, but she needs you right now. Then Dolores goes on to add that the only reason why Jackie is trying to get in Teresa's good graces because she wants to sell her book. And she knows that with Teresa's popularity, with her fan base, that will help her sell those books. I said once again, Dolores for the win, because Dolores is calling out the BS that Jackie thinks that we can't see. Now, Teresa must have forgotten that the cameras and the mic were still on, because what she said next had me screaming. The intrusive thoughts won. She said the quiet part out loud. So Teresa says, who cares about Jackie? She needs Jackie right now to expose Margaret. That's all she cares about. Then she says how Jackie always thought that she was the smartest person in the room, but she is sadly mistaken and karma is a bitch.
Let me make friends with Teresa so that I could sell more of my book because she's popular.
Who cares about Jackie?
She is a f***ing stupid bitch.
Yeah, who cares? I just need her to, because I want Margaret to be exposed.
Again, Jackie, hold this L. You sitting up there switching sides and backstabbing your good friend Margaret to be friends with somebody who can't stand you and is making it clear out of her own mouth that she's only using you so that you can take down somebody that she can't stand. Imagine being that much of a loser where you really thought that this was a genuine friendship. But I don't feel any ways about it. I don't feel any sympathy for you, because in the words of Monique, when you do clownery, the clown comes back to bite. So now Teresa goes on to say that Margaret is the root of all evil. I said, she is? And what are you, girl? Teresa calling anybody evil is comical. One of the most vile cast members on this franchise, but yet she wants to fix her mouth and say that Margaret's evil. So once again, Aydin jumps in and she's like, we all know that Jackie is the gatekeeper to Margaret's arsenal. And every secret that Margaret told Jackie, Jackie knows and could destroy her. So Jen's like, yeah, I told her do it. And she said, no, I don't want to stoop to her level. Now, let me just pause for a minute about that. If Margaret was saying stuff about everybody in this group, I'm sure that you were also running your mouth about everybody as well. Because a conversation takes two. Margaret got you with that one text message, so not too much about how you could destroy her by telling all her secrets. Okay, girl, but I'm willing to bet that in a fight about who has the most dirt on them, it's you. So I don't know if you want to play these games. So now you have Teresa jumping in and she's super hyped up. She's like, well, she better effing say it. She better use her mouth and go against Margaret because I want to take that bitch down so bad. I said, wait, how old are you? Talking about you want to take somebody down like you're in middle school. If you're so bold, if you're so tough, why do you need anybody else to fight your battles? You don't hear how crazy you sound? And this conversation proved my point that Teresa does not want friends. Teresa wants soldiers, yes men, flunkies, and people to do her bidding. That's it. That's all. She's not trying to have people on equal footing with her. She does not want anybody to ever call her out when she's wrong. And be very clear, I cannot wait to watch Jennifer, Aydin, and Teresa's friendship implode because it's about to happen. And we'll talk more about that when we get to the end of this episode. Because that preview for next week said, oh yeah, Aydin is about to realize that she's gotten the short end of the stick for quite some time now. But again, we'll talk about that later. Now mind you, there is a parallel scene with Melissa and Danielle. They're in Melissa's store Envy, which is in a new location. It's a bigger space. And Melissa is excited. She has models at the store because she wants to have another fashion show. So while they're talking about that, they now bring up the whole housewarming party and the whole gift situation. And Melissa wants to get Danielle's opinion on why Teresa sent that bottle. So Danielle is trying to give Teresa the benefit of the doubt. She says, well, I'm speaking as somebody who did the same thing with my own brother. And we all know the story about Danielle and her brother. They're estranged. They don't speak at all, even though Danielle does want to seek a relationship with him. But anyhow, Melissa says, okay, well, that's fine, but I'm guessing that it wasn't done publicly. It was probably done as a personal thing, and this wasn't personal. So now they go on to talk about Danielle and Aydin's conversation at the housewarming and how it was upsetting for Danielle. So Melissa says, yeah, I get it. For her to say that you would steal from a charity, that's very deep. And that's really messed up of Jen Aydin to even put that out there. That's a serious accusation to even imply that somebody is stealing or they paid themselves back. That's not right. She just wants to have an issue with Danielle. That's it. So now Melissa's trying to find out where are things with Danielle and Teresa. And then she goes on to ask if they're upset with her because Danielle is now close to Melissa and Rachel. So Danielle does not answer the question. And may I just say this? I'm on the fence about Danielle. I feel like she's another one who tries to straddle the fence, and it's annoying. I hate how Dolores does it. I hate how Karen on Potomac does it. I feel like pick a side. Now Melissa brings up Jackie and she says, look at Jackie. She's assuming that. And did you see her at my party? She was trying to rip my head off. Then she goes on to add, Jackie, are you good, girl? Like, what's going on? And Danielle clocked it too. She said, yeah, blink twice, Jackie, if they're holding you hostage. Then she says, Jackie's either playing everybody or she's going to need psychiatric help. And honestly speaking, I would not be surprised if Jackie does check herself in to get some help after this season wraps. Because the way Jackie is low-key the laughingstock, like Rachel Fuda said on Watch What Happens Live, she said that Jackie is currently the laughingstock of Bravo, and she is. And I think that that would send anybody over the edge. So yeah, to Danielle's point, I wouldn't be surprised if she does need psychiatric help after all this, because to be embarrassed and played like this on national TV, that's traumatizing. And then that massive L that you took in last week's episode when Margaret set you up with that text message, I said, girl. Now we jump to a short scene with Rachel at home and Margaret comes over. I thought it was so cute because Margaret brought some gifts for Rachel's daughters, and Rachel's daughters are so adorable. Every time I see them, my ovaries start jumping, their little cheeks, like just the cutest, right? But it was so cute because she got them these dolls. I just said, Margaret is such a sweetheart. And once again, this is a Margaret Joseph Stan account, honey. So I just love Margaret. I think that she can do no wrong. She's a good friend to people. And it's not her fault that she is prepared if you try her. But Rachel says since things have changed drastically with her and Jen Fessler's friendship, she's grown closer to Margaret and she loves Margaret's maternal, motherly energy. So Margaret's asking Rachel how the baby's doing, and Rachel reveals that her baby had her lip and tongue tie procedure, and so she's giving the baby Motrin. Now I always get emotional seeing little kids, especially in surgery, and just hearing that she's okay now and that she's speaking clearly now, I was happy. And I low-key got teary-eyed in last week's episode when they showed her in the walker. I was just like, oh, you know, I hope that she's good, because I don't want to see a kid, especially a baby, hurting or in pain. So I hope that she's good. And again, her kids are adorable. So they go outside to talk and have a cute little nosh on some bagels and some donuts. And Margaret's asking, how's everything going? And Rachel's like, girl, I'm kind of stressed out because every few hours or so, we have to get up and stretch the baby out to make sure that she's okay. Then Rachel shares that she's been in pain because her shoulder has been flaring up with her arthritis. So now Margaret gets emotional and shares how Joe had a cancer scare earlier on in the week and how they ran to the urologist to make sure that everything was okay. So they're waiting for the test results. So she goes on to say that she didn't even tell Melissa at the party because of that psycho Jackie. So of course they get into the whole text message situation. And Margaret says, girl, I was defending myself and I would do it again. I said, girl, I know that's right.
And you're going to always get it again and again and again.
Listen, like I told you guys in the last recap, I felt no ways about Margaret sending that screenshot over to Dolores. I was here for it. I loved every minute of it. And let's be clear, that was a top 10 Housewives moment. I said, put that in the Hall of Fame, please, because The way Margaret did that so effortlessly, she did that from across the kitchen. I said that was flawless. So Rachel says that she feels like that was a bit too low, and Margaret was not here for it. She said, excuse me, that was low? It would have been low and petty if I had screenshotted every single thing that she said over the last 6 years. That would have been low. Now, Rachel, the things that you've said to Teresa so far, I wouldn't talk about what's low. Okay, I'm just saying. I feel like if you were in that situation, you would have done the same exact thing. So I don't know why you're trying to act like, oh, that's just so low and so petty of Margaret, when you've also gone into the gutter as well when it comes to you and Teresa. Now, I don't have a lot to say about this next scene with Dolores and Polly going to the gym to work out with their personal trainer. Not a whole lot happened, but I will say I was irritated when Dolores said, I'm trying to maintain this so that way I don't go and get more surgery. And when Polly made that comment saying, oh no, Dolores, no more surgery. If you get surgery, then I'm out the door. I said, excuse me? And even Dolores was like, Paul, it's my body. Don't tell me what to do. Like, how dare you? I said, Polly, you don't have that right. And how dare you, the same man who's still not divorced from his ex. You sitting up there legally married, but you want to tell Dolores what she can and can't do with her body. I said, if you don't shut up, Dolores, you could do so much better. Please leave him today. I'm so serious. Like, I really don't like Paulie. I thought he was cool in the beginning, but I feel like he's on some BS. He's wasting your time. You're wasting your own time being with him. Now he wants to dictate what you can and can't do with your body. No, ma'am. And the funny part is, these men will say, well, I don't like all that surgery, to get with the next person who has all that surgery. So again, Dolores, do what you want to do. It's your body. Do not pay Paulie any mind. So now we see everybody getting ready for Teresa's Tipsy and Tulum party. Jen Aydin's in her bedroom talking to Bill. And is it just me, or does Bill always look like he is exhausted being around Jen for more than 5 minutes? So now Jen says it should be interesting tonight, especially with all the drama that went down at Melissa and Joe Gorga's housewarming. Now, what really tickled me was when Jen went on to say that tonight is a great way to show Danielle that her and Teresa are actually real friends, unlike Margaret. And I said, oh, really, Jen? Because from where I'm sitting, you and Teresa are doing a piss poor job displaying what real friendship looks like. Because trying to get Jackie to do your dirty work because you're too cowardly to do it, that's not real friendship. Implying that somebody is doing some unsavory things like stealing from a charity, that's also not a great display of real friendship. So I think it's hilarious that you're saying that you and Teresa are going to show her what real friendship looks like. Even your husband had to laugh because he knows that that's some BS. Again, Jen Aydin is grasping at straws as to why she does not like Danielle, because when she went on to say that things might be tense between her and Danielle tonight, because every time she sees another thing that Danielle has done, she gets more disappointed in her. I said, girl, what are you talking about? And the unmitigated gall for Jennifer Aydin to twist her mouth to call anybody tacky. I said, wait, you're calling Danielle tacky and selfish? Girl, that's you. Jen Aydin is one of the tackiest housewives across all the franchises. Jen Aydin's style is so damn tacky and gaudy and loud and garish. Every time I see her, I'm like, can she hire a stylist, please? The same woman who brags about everything, but yet you want to call somebody else tacky. And then that nasty remark that you made saying, I don't know why Teresa would even bring Danielle into this group, much less want to be friends with me. And I said, but hold on. Just 2 minutes ago, you said that you want to show Danielle what true friendship looks like. Now all of a sudden is, girl, I don't know why you'd want to be friends with me anyway. You're tacky and selfish and I'm disappointed in her and her character. Girl, you're talking out two sides of your face. You obviously don't like her. Just call a spade a spade. Be honest for once. I'm not going to hold you guys. I was this close to skipping this short scene with Teresa and Louis getting ready for the party. And when they're in the kitchen, Gia comes in and Teresa's talking about all the drama in the group, and she's telling Gia about how Jackie called Dolores a slob and how there are issues with Danielle and Aydin. And my thing is, why do you need to involve your daughter in all this mess? I just don't get it. Like, it's not fair. I don't think it's right for parents to burden their children with their issues and their mess with other people. I get it that they're close, they have a great relationship, but I feel like that's the reason why Gia has the thoughts and opinions about the people in their group and her own uncle and aunt because of her mother's views and how her mother has always involved her in this drama. And the minute that somebody says something to Gia or about Gia, then Teresa is angry. But it's like, girl, stop involving your daughter in all this. But Teresa goes on to say that Jackie needs to realize that Margaret is evil. And so Gia jumps in saying, I mean, if you just explain to her everything that Margaret has done to this family, I'm sure she'll empathize with you and understand. And I'm just like, what has Margaret done to Teresa and the family? Somebody please let me know. I've watched every single season of Jersey. I have a good memory, all right? I don't remember Margaret trying to come after Teresa's family. So Teresa says, well, I hope so, because if she doesn't, we're not going to stay friends. I said, girl, you've made it clear that you don't like Jackie at all anyway, and you're just using her. So you're already not friends. So it's time for the party to start. And one thing about me, whether I like a housewife or I don't like a housewife, I can always give credit where credit is due. Teresa and Louis did a great job with this party. The backyard was decorated beautifully. They had a full spread. That scene when they all started eating, that food looked delicious, okay? My mouth was indeed watering. They definitely did that. The party looked great. So we see everybody arriving. Jen Fessler and her husband arrive. Then we see Jen and Bill, Danielle and Nate, Dolores and Paulie. So at one point, Jen Fessler, Teresa, and Aydin are all talking, and so Aydin brings up how beautiful Tulum is and how they went for Teresa's 50th birthday party last year. And now Aydin brings up how they flew private and that was her first time on a private jet. So Jen Fessler says, oh, well, I've never even had a first time, so that's really cool for y'all. So now Teresa jumps in and says, well, if you hang out with me more, maybe you could have a first time on a private jet. And I said, Teresa, please stop acting like you're the lifeline and the gatekeeper of all luxurious experiences. Please stop. And Jen Fessler, when you made that joke saying, Margaret who? I said, girl, I wouldn't even play like that. I really hate how Jen Fessler is playing both sides. My whole thing is, Margaret is your friend. She's the one that you've known for over 15 years. She brought you on this show. Your loyalty should lie with her. I don't even know why you're at Teresa's party in the first place, but again, that's just me. But I damn sure would not be joking around about, oh, Margaret who? I wouldn't do that. So now Dolores and Danielle walk over, and of course Jen has to bring up the whole Jackie incident. She's like, have you heard from Jackie? And Dolores says, no, I haven't. So now Teresa says, well, maybe you guys can talk tonight. And Dolores says, no, it's a bit late for that. So now Dolores really goes in on Jackie, and she says, honestly, I've always felt that Jackie was classist and elitist. And while I was on Jackie's side back in earlier seasons, she definitely was elitist. She thought that she was the smartest. She thought that they were all dumb. She was always flexing how she was a lawyer and she had her degree, and how Jen and Teresa weren't smart, they weren't bright, they weren't sharp or witty. She was always throwing out certain vocab words that they did not know. So yes, she was always flexing how she was the smartest in the group and how they could not keep up. Now mind you, as they're talking about Jackie, Jackie has pulled up to the party and now she's walking right towards the group. Baby, when she came over to hug everybody, Dolores paid her dust. Did not even look in Jackie's direction. Jackie looked nervous as hell. I said, girl, you should be. You should be embarrassed. If I were you, I would not even attempt to even talk to Dolores. Just leave her alone at this point. You effed up badly, and it is what it is. Dolores wants no parts. So now Jen Fessler, Jackie, Teresa, and Jen Aydin are talking, and Jackie says that she feels really bad about this whole situation between her and Dolores. So of course she's all nervous and she's like, do you think that I should talk to Dolores tonight? And Teresa says, yes, you should. So now Jen Aydin's questioning her. She says, did you really say that you hated her? And Jackie's like, I mean, yeah, I said that. And Jen Aydin says, girl, that's really extreme. Like, why would you go that far? And I said, we all know the answer to that. Jackie is a very insecure woman. That's why. She gets very triggered when she feels left out. Jackie trying to spin this on Margaret, how Margaret exposing this really hurt Dolores. And Jen Aydin really pissed me off when she said, do you really think that Margaret cares that Dolores' feelings are hurt? She has an agenda to sabotage your reconciliation. I said, girl, shut up. Jen Aydin is always inserting herself in situations that have nothing to do with her. Girl, be quiet. This is not your fight or your battle. And the audacity for you to say that Margaret has an agenda when you and Teresa both have agendas to set Jackie up to take down Margaret. So again, girl, not too much. Y'all don't understand. Jen Aydin works my last good nerve every single episode. So Jackie says, I know that you guys have your differences, but I really thought that she was a good person. So of course you have Teresa fake coughing, being shady, and she's just like, wait, what? A good person? She's a horrible person. I said, and what are you? Teresa calling anybody a horrible person after all the things that she's done and said to her fellow former and current castmates is beyond me. Jen Fessler said, you're not about to sit here and dog my friend out like that, so I'm going to walk away. Now, Jen Fessler, I really wish that you were a reader, and I really wish that you had more of a backbone, because I would have cursed them all out. I will be damned if I consider you my friend. If I'm around somebody who's talking about you, I'm going off on them. People know, don't do that with me around. Don't do that. So I said, Jen Fessler, I wish you would have said, like, y'all have me completely effed up. But then again, I can't be too surprised because Jen Fessler wants to straddle the fence and be everybody's friend so that she can stay on this show. And she secretly loves being close with Teresa. So now you have Teresa browbeating Jackie about why is Jackie still protecting Margaret? And Jackie's like, I'm not, that's not it. So Teresa's like, well, why not say something? Because I heard that Margaret was talking badly about Dolores and Polly. Jackie's just like, look, I can't do this right now. I need a drink. And I said, Jackie, do you see how Teresa is using you? She is pushing you to expose Margaret. So now we see everybody laughing, having some fun. And now Jackie walks over to Dolores and she's like, hey, Dolores, can we talk? If Dolores could have hit Jackie, she probably would have, because her whole entire aura screamed like, girl, I don't like you. I don't F with you like that. Please, like, get out of my face. Leave me alone. I said, Jackie, you're fighting a losing battle because Dolores has officially washed her hands of you. So just leave her alone. And Jackie's voice shaking. I said, girl, can you stop? You had ample time to get it together and get your little story straight when you knew that you would see Dolores at Teresa's party. So this shaky voice of yours, like you're about to cry yet again, we don't want to hear it. But Jackie's just like, you know how sorry I am. And honestly, Dolores, my stomach turned. I didn't know what to say. Dolores had me screaming the way she was not here for it. She said, okay, girl, I guess, but I'm not ready to buy that right now. So, you can move along. So you have Jackie just desperate. She's like, but honestly, Dolores, the real bad guy is Margaret. She's talked about everybody to me. I said, Jackie, you're not helping your case. You're not helping yourself out, mama. Right now, you look like a little kid tattling on their sibling. That's what this gives. Be a woman about it. Take accountability and say, I said it and I'm sorry. That's it. That's all. But all this, well, I did say that, but Margaret's the real bad guy. Girl, shut up. Now, I think that all of us are pretty rational people here, I'll bet you guys money that all Margaret has said about Dolores and Paulie is how stupid Paulie is for not putting a ring on it and divorcing his ex. The same stuff that we've all been saying, I'm sure Margaret has said that. That's not anything bad. So for Jackie to act like, oh, she's talked so poorly about you and Paulie, I highly doubt that. If anything, she's probably saying that Paulie is an idiot for not locking it down with Dolores and playing in her face. So Jackie goes on to say how hurt she is and how she feels like it's the end between her and Dolores. And Dolores says, look, girl, sometimes friendships need a break. And right now, this friendship needs a break, like I'm cool. So Dolores goes on to say, I could give a damn about how Jackie feels about Margaret. That's not my issue. Jackie talks a lot about everybody, and the moral of the story, she needs to stop running her mouth. I said whack her again, please, Dolores.
I'm gonna just scoot on over and let you whack him. Get him again. Get him for me.
I was here for it. Because girl, don't sit up here in my face and try to blame everybody else for what you said about me. I was so glad that Dolores ate her up just as calmly as possible. She said, girl, I don't care about your excuses. It is what it is. You be blessed. I'm out. Jackie, I know that the level of embarrassment that you must feel right now must be off the charts because Miss Mamas, you have taken L's left and right since the season started. The fans aren't on your side. You've lost valuable friendships. You're being made a fool of on national TV with Teresa saying out of her mouth that she does not care about you at all. Was it worth it, girl? So just when you think that we're going to have a drama-free night, we see Danielle and Teresa talk, and Danielle's like, I just want to make sure that you and I are cool because I feel like I haven't talked to you since the bougie brunch. So Teresa says, we're good, but I just feel like you have people in your ear, Melissa and Margaret. Now, can I call out the double standards quickly? So it's okay for Teresa to be in everybody's ears about how evil Margaret and Melissa are, but God forbid Melissa and Margaret say one thing, then that's a problem? Teresa, you have been in everybody's ear about how evil Margaret is and how you want to take her down. You are trying to get Jackie to expose Margaret. If that's not being in somebody's ear, then I don't know what is. Teresa's logic makes absolutely no sense. She feels like she's allowed to say and do whatever she wants, and everybody else has to follow in line. The same way you're in Danielle's ear, you're in Jen Aydin's ear, you're in Jackie's ear. It should be okay if Margaret and Melissa are in Danielle's ear. So Danielle clears it up that it's not like that, how it's never malicious, and how when she does hang out with Margaret and Melissa, they're not sitting around talking about Teresa. So Teresa says, well, that's good. And also, I feel like you're closer to us than you are with them anyway. So Danielle confirms it. She says, yeah, 100%. And I said, Danielle, the way you're up there smiling in Melissa's face all the time, Melissa lets you put your pop-up store in her store. She did not have to do that. She's helped you out a bunch with your whole brand. You invited her to New York Fashion Week a few episodes ago, and now she's inviting you to her fashion show that's coming up, but yet you want to say that you're closer to Teresa and Jen Aydin? Jen Aydin, the same woman who's accusing you of stealing some money from that charity? The same woman calling you tacky and selfish, saying that you have no character, but you're closer to them, but not Melissa. Got it. Teresa's only interested in you because she's hoping to turn you on her side. That's all it is. So now Danielle brings up her argument with Jen Aydin a few days ago, and Teresa says you should definitely speak to her. And mind you, while she's saying that, Jen Aydin walks over to them, and I say, here we go. Here the F we go. It's about to go down. Child, Jen Aydin is so full of BS. It's not even funny. That woman really irks my spirit badly. Like, she is just so insufferable. Like, that's the only word that I can use when it comes to her. So Danielle says, hey Jen, we were just talking about you. I just have to ask, why did you say that stuff to me? So here goes Jen Aydin exaggerating, trying to make this a bigger issue than it really is. She says, I just didn't like that type of talk. All of that who is she stuff and how you didn't mind throwing her out. I didn't like that. And Jen, I have to call you out because you're not being honest. Just say that you do not like Danielle for whatever reason. Because for you to say that you guys squashed this, but now you're still saying, well, I didn't like that type of talk and that bothered me. Obviously you were lying because you're still not over this whole entire fundraiser issue. I loved how Danielle said, that's so irrelevant right now. Let's talk about the real issue. The real issue that I have is you insinuating that I stole from the charity. So Jen says, no, I never said that you stole. I just said that you paid yourself back. That's what you said. So Danielle is really upset and she's like, girl, that's not what it was at all. We had people who worked this event, and when the profit came, we made sure to pay those expenses and pay the people who worked at the event. That's it. So here goes Jen Aydin telling what I think is a lie. She says in her confessional that Danielle called her up on the phone and told her that first she's going to pay herself back for her time and then the leftover money will go to charity. Now, I feel like Jen Aydin is somebody who likes to blow things out of proportion and twist your words. I would never trust her. She's somebody where if you talk to her on the phone, you would have to record the conversation because she's untrustworthy, and the way she loves to get a moment and lie on people, I could definitely see her doing that. And for some odd reason, I believe that she's lying on Danielle to make Danielle look bad. I truly don't believe that Danielle would be so stupid to steal from a charity that she hosted. So they're going back and forth, and Jen Aydin says, well, when I do a charity, I pay for it out of my own pocket. So Danielle says, girl, you're a multimillionaire. I wouldn't expect anything less. So now you have Jen Aydin saying, like we're not multimillionaires. Maybe we have one, but that's it. So child, Danielle clocked her just like I did. I said, Jen, we're not going to sit up here and act like Bill is not pulling in a few million. Plastic surgeons do very well. Danielle said, girl, you have the biggest house in Paramus, a second home on the Jersey Shore. On top of that, you have a slew of cars that include a Ferrari. Don't play with me. I don't know why Jen Aydin wants to downplay her finances now. Any other time she's bragging, but now you want to sit up here and say, oh no, we don't have that much money. We're not that rich. Stop. I wanted to scream when Jen Aydin brought up that step and repeat one more time. I said, girl, if you don't shut up about that step and repeat, I'm going to lose it. Jen, I don't know why you feel like you deserve to have Bill's surgery center up there when you guys did not write a check. And Danielle told you right when she said, no offense, but Bill's plastic surgery center did not donate anything. I had small businesses who actually paid. They deserve to be on the step and repeat. And she is exactly right. I was so happy when Danielle told Jen that she was psychotic. I said, yes, she is. She's psychotic and delusional. So Danielle says, I'm just so confused. Are you trying to destroy me as a person? Like, girl, what's tea? Where is all this animosity coming from? So now Jen Aydin's talking about, well, honestly, there is something else that you did that really bothered me and rubbed me the wrong way. So Danielle's like, well, girl, what is it? I'm dying to find out. So when I tell you, it's just apparent that Jen Aydin is grasping at straws. She brings up Danielle's hairdresser who does her extensions, Marissa. So apparently, Marissa called up Jen Aydin and asked if Jen Aydin would model for her master class. So Jen Aydin claims that apparently Danielle called her up saying, girl, do you know what you signed up for? Those are her hair extensions, and none of us are getting paid to do that. So Jen Aydin continues on to say that she was really disgusted to see Danielle try to profit off of somebody who she considered a friend. Danielle was too stunned to speak. Then she says, you piece of MF, like, I cannot believe you right now. Like, girl, I really cannot believe that you're going to sit up here and twist my words up. It was an innocent conversation. That's not what happened at all. Jen Aydin is so nasty and so raggedy. She starts screaming out, you dogged your girl. You dogged your girl. I said, girl, shut up. Nobody dogged down anybody. That's just you trying to make Danielle look bad. So now Jen Aydin says, girl, you think that we're besties and the whole time I'm just reading you? I said, girl, excuse me? You are such a loser, Jen. You really are. Sitting up here smiling in this girl's face, and now all of a sudden you want to turn on her like this? That's really nasty work. I just said, Jen Aydin is so pathetic, and I still don't understand how she has any stands. Who is standing her? But she goes on to say that she can't be friends with somebody who sabotages her own people. I said, oh, okay. So now Danielle is screaming at Jen Aydin. She says, I take care of my people, and everybody was right about you. You're dirty. Everybody warned me about you. You're really dirty. Now, mind you, at this point, Danielle and Jen Aydin are both in each other's faces, right? So it's super heated. Child, next thing you know, Jen shoves Danielle. I said, wait, what? Y'all, if you could have heard how loud I was screaming when it happened, and I know that we've seen many fights and altercations on the Real Housewives, but for some reason, this shove sent me over the edge. I don't know why, but it just did. I wasn't expecting it, and the whole time I thought that Danielle had started the fight, because in the trailer, you keep seeing Danielle lunge at her. So I thought the whole time Danielle was the one who started the whole fight, but we see that it was Jen Aydin who started the whole thing and pushed her first. Baby, the Staten Island came out of Danielle. The way she swung on Jen, she threw that glass. I said, damn, you didn't even see her pick it up. She said, got her. I said, Jen, had they not come in between you guys and broken that up, you would have been done. And I'm not even going to hold you. I was here for Danielle throwing that drink at Jen. Because how dare you push me? You want to lie on me and say that I stole from a charity and then say that I sabotaged one of my close friends, and now you want to push me? Absolutely not. For anybody who wants to act like Jen is a victim and that she's innocent, no, she's not. Because we can play the tapes back of when Jen has been in people's faces. Let's not forget when she threw that knife at Melissa Gorga earlier on. Jen has always been very antagonistic, very combative. So let's not act like Danielle almost whooping her ass was not well deserved. And Jen Aydin, you always want to put that black scent on and act like you're so tough and you're about that life. But Danielle really showed you what it means to F around and find out. Because you tried her and she got you good. And again, had they not come in between y'all and broken that up, you most likely would have been on a stretcher on your way to the hospital. Because I truly believe that Danielle would have really worn you out. I'm on Danielle's side with this whole altercation. I really am. Because if you push me mid-argument, the minute you put your hands on me, all bets are off. You could say what you want, but I'm always a believer in defending yourself. You don't have the right to put your hands on anybody, period. But when you do cross that line, you have to be prepared for what happens to you next. How dare you? So we see Danielle and Nate leave the party, and I love Nate. I think that he's a great husband. I love how he has his wife's back, because when he said, Jen, that's not cool. And the way I got my life when Danielle and Nate stormed out of Teresa's house, baby, they're walking through the kitchen, Bill's sitting down, and Danielle screams out to Bill, your wife is a dirty bitch. She's the devil. And all Bill could do was just sit there. And did anybody notice how it took a while, in my opinion, for Bill to come out and check on his wife? I'm sure he was irritated like, damn, every time we go somewhere, she's always showing her ass. I know he has to be tired of her. She's exhausting. I get tired watching her on the screen, so Lord knows what it's like to live with her every single day. I was too done when Jen tried to sit up there and act like she forgot that she started the fight. Because when Dolores asked her, Jen, did you push her first? And she was like, well, I mean, it just happened so fast. I don't remember. I said, Jen, you are just so pathetic. You can't even own up to the fact that you started this whole entire altercation. Stand 10 toes down in your behavior. You can't even be honest about that. Like, my God, you pushed that lady first and now you want to sit up here and pretend like you don't remember what happened. So now we see one of the ladies who I think is a friend of the show. She says to Teresa, well, if somebody pushed me, I would throw my drink at them too, wouldn't you? And Teresa says, oh, hell yeah. And I said, oh, Jen Aydin, you see how your friend isn't on your side? All the times where she wants you on her side, regardless of what she does, she's sitting up there saying that if you did that to her, she would have whooped your ass too. So we see Danielle and Nate in the car on their way back home. They're both livid. And Danielle says, honestly, I'm everything that she wants to be. Now, I don't think that Jen Aydin wants to be Danielle, nor do I think that Jen Aydin is jealous of Danielle. I think that Jen Aydin looks down on Danielle. If anything, Jen Aydin has always wanted to be Melissa Gorga. That's who she has a shrine of in her closet at home, if I had to guess. But I do feel like the real reason why Jen Aydin does not like Danielle is more to do with she wants to make sure that nobody else gets closer to Teresa than she is. That's what I think the issue is. But I don't think that there's any jealousy on Jen Aydin's part about Danielle. If anything, there's jealousy on Jen Aydin's part when it comes to Melissa and Melissa's marriage, but I digress. But we end the episode with Jen Aydin saying that Danielle is just mad, and if she were Danielle, she'd be mad too. I said, girl, Jen, I hate to break it to you, sweetie, but you're the definition of all you have is money. And I'll just leave it there. You don't dress well. You're very corny, you're a try-hard, very thirsty, desperate. Nobody wants to be you, sis. If anything, Danielle is mad at your nasty personality and your very stank disposition. And mark my words, the end of Teresa and Jen Aydin's friendship is near, because the preview for next week's episode is quite telling, where Jen Aydin is angry that Teresa isn't on her side about this whole entire fight with her and Danielle. I said, ooh wee, here we go. Jen Aydin is finally realizing that she's a friend to Teresa, but Teresa is not a friend to her. And y'all, when I tell you guys, I'm just so shocked that Jersey is actually giving us some heat. I'm like, wait, when did this happen? Now I'm low-key upset that we're only getting, I think, 13 or 14 episodes. But like I said, it makes complete sense why there's no cast trip and why there's no reunion, because it would be a bloodbath. These women cannot be on a trip together by any stretch of the imagination, and they definitely can't be in a reunion together. So I guess it's for the best that we're not getting either. But yeah, when I tell you Jersey is truly giving us some quality grade A mess, child, I'm worn out just talking about it. But y'all, that was my recap. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening, if you're listening on my podcast. And once again, y'all, you already know what to do. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all later. Bye.